Sweden. Well, it was really exciting to get there. Then I still remember looking out the window when the APs drove us to the mission home, and I was like, wow, we are here. It's like, finally, this is what I've been waiting for years now. And then, although, even though I really wanted to serve, it wasn't without struggle to get there. It was still a lot of hard work and everything. But once I was there, I got my trainer, Elder Ronald Tommen, Ron Tom, as I call him now, Elder Tommen. And he and I, so I had a portion of this Greenie syndrome, which basically means in the MTC you learn how to do missionary work. You've been taught it for me it was 9 weeks. And then you get into the field and you see how it's actually done, and maybe what you've learned in the books doesn't exactly align with how your trainer does it. And so it's easy to be judgmental about your trainer and blah, blah, blah. So I had a little bit of that. But my trainer and I, he pulled 3 pranks on me. He pulled 3 pranks on me, which some were funnier than others. One of them, we went to this family's home, and he said that the bishop asked us to go by, and that this was a less active family. And so we knocked on the door. I didn't speak Swedish. I mean, of course, I thought I did, and I knew something, but it's a different language than what I was taught in the MTC, more or less. But so he starts saying, we're the missionaries. The bishop asked us to come by, and the dad's just like, no. He's like, no, really, like we were at, And then the dad just says, boys, get him. And then he opens the door, and 2 of his sons were wearing paintball masks, and they had paintball guns. And then they just started shooting. Bah, 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 bah. And I freaked out. I never knew what I would do if I was being just shot at. But because of that experience, I do know. I start running like this away. I know now. And so it's funny now. It wasn't so funny at the time. For me, they laughed. They thought it was hilarious. So yeah, in the beginning, there was a lot of stress, new environment. And I was there to work, so I didn't really appreciate this whole pranking, wasting time stuff. Long story short, my companion and I, Elder Tommen, he was pretty patient with me. And then it finally culminated into us having a very frank chat where got pretty, Elder Tommen learned a few things about Elder Ahola, and Elder Ahola learned a few things about Elder Tommen. We almost wrestled, did not end up doing that, and figured things out, and then we crushed every goal that we had set. Miracles started happening left and right. It was, just crushed all the goals we had set, and I remember one time, we were coming home after a really hard working day, and it was just awesome. And we were walking home from the bus stop, and we did our last contact and set up an appointment for the next day or something, I can't remember. And we come home, and we sat down a plan. And So I get right into it. We pray and start planning, and then Elder Tom just says, he's like, Elder Hola, stop. Do you feel that? And so I stopped, and then I noticed that we just had this joy and happiness and peace. And Elder Tom looks at me and says, I've been made in my entire mission to feel that. And then we just hugged each other and cried. And there's, in the beginning of Preach My Gospel, the first presidency message, it talks about how there's greater joy than you've ever felt that's waiting for you. And that's true. When you do missionary work right, that's true. There's greater joy than you've ever felt if you do missionary work right. And I feel really blessed that I was able to feel that joy with my first companion right off the bat. So it set me up to understand what's in store for the other transfers, and so. But that was just such a wonderful thing, sitting down and then just the Lord just blessed us with this great experience.